The Hard Truth, Season 10, with Akosua Konadu, only on Viasat 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank.
59 years down the line, Ghana's independence. What is the relevance? Well, this evening, my name is Patrice Amegashie, and I'm sitting in for Akosua Konadu, your regular host of the show. And we'll be talking to none other than a diplomat, a writer, and somebody that everybody refers to as a statesman. His name is Samuel Kweku Baprui Asante. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Hard Truth. So my name is Patrice Amegashie, and I'm sitting in for Akosua Konadu. Well, he was about 33 years old when the independence of this nation, Ghana, was sought. Now, ladies and gentlemen, down the line, he went to Achimota College, now Achimota School. In 1952, he traveled to Britain, Denham University, where he had a BSc in mathematics, and then he became a member of the Statisticians Institute in 1953. He came back to Ghana and taught at Achimota School from 1953 to 1955. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening I have with me Kweku Baprui Asante. How are you doing, sir?
Fine.
Can you tell us a little bit about growing up in Ghana then, before independence?
It was fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. This area was not known. Plenty of space to move about. Life was good. Plenty of mango trees, cashew nuts, and so on to go to help yourself with. We had some in the house, but I took delight in going out for some.
For some?
Yes.
Okay, that is very interesting. So down the line, before independence, how was the atmosphere like when everybody thought that Ghana needed this independence?
Actually, independence was talked about for a long time. It came to a head, I think, only in the 40s, late 40s. And it was made more immediate by the escalation of prices after the war. And it was thought that the European companies were responsible for that, and therefore there was, and then the soldiers went. During the war, we became one. We were fighting for freedom. So naturally, after the war, people asked, what have we fought for? What have we gained? And so the idea that we should rule ourselves became more prominent. Because before then, we were made to believe that we were not right for self-government, that the British were here to train us to be independent and all that. We believed it. But our soldiers went out, and they met others who were as good or bad as they were, as gallant as they were. And so when they came here and they were being told that we needed more time, it didn't wash, they didn't take it. And we all learned about what happened. We were even persuaded to feel that we belong to a great future. Of independence and so on.
Sorry, but if this agitation was amongst the soldiers who went to...
Not only the soldiers. Actually, they came and instigated, they talked to their friends, so the general idea caught root, yes.
Who were some of the proponents of self-rule, as in independence? Who were they? I know Kwame Nkrumah is one of them, but there is some kind of story about it, as somebody had to bring him in. He did not come on his own volition.
No, he didn't. No, the self-government was talked about by the leading politicians, including Dr. Dankwa. And they decided to have to form a group or party. And I think the story is that it was Akwaji who suggested Kwame Nkrumah as a competent secretary because he knew him in the United States.
Good.
And so Nkrumah was brought in specially to be secretary of the party.
Can you remember names of people who were agitating for self-rule? Can you remember names of some people?
Oh yes, the big six, Obeche Rulante, William Oforata, Dr. Dankwa, Obeche Bilamte, then even Akosua Konadu, not the president, not the young man.
Not the young, yeah, his father.
His father was one of them. Then there were many young men who supported them, but these were the leaders.
Around that time, what was the form that the cry for independence take? What form did they take? Did they use a newspaper? Did they use material?
Yes, newspaper. They had meetings at is it not Winneba, Solpon, I think, and other places. Small group of meetings where people went to listen to them, and they wrote in the then the current papers and so on, and to tell people to agitate for independence.
Now, you said Akwaje was the one who proposed Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to be a good secretary. Can you tell us a little bit about Nkrumah and how we got independence?
No, Nkrumah came, he was secretary, he was active, and then we had routes, if you know.
Yes.
Now, we celebrated the 20th of February.
Yeah, exactly, 20th of February.
The soldiers went to present a petition, and they were, 3 were killed. And
Sergeant
of course,
Emery
they came to town, and there were routes. And then it caught on. The routes were quelled, and then we had commissions of inquiry and so on. And the leaders was some of them were supposed to be too left-wing or communists. Kwame Nkrumah was singled out as the main architect of the thing, being a communist and so on. The so-called Bixies were imprisoned. When they left, there were recommendations, and some, the more sedate ones, thought that Nkrumah had brought all this. He was too left-wing and so on. And so it was decided to get Nkrumah out of the party, out of the UGCC.
Out of the UGCC, okay.
Yes, United Ghana Gold Coast, United Gold Coast Convention.
Yeah.
And incidentally, what I heard, the rumor was that only a few people who were there, I asked them, they said it was Dankwa who opposed the sacking of Nkrumah.
Okay.
Anyway, eventually he was ousted.
From the UGCC.
And he formed a party of the youth. And that was that. And they were more active than the organized, than the elderly members of the UGCC.
Okay, so down the line, they campaigned for independence?
Yes.
Yes, and
yes.
How did the British allow us to get independence?
They didn't allow us, we fought for it. What happened was that Nkrumah and CPP became very active, very radical, and eventually he staged what he called positive action to demand it forcibly, and he was imprisoned. He was tried in prison. And while he was in prison, there were elections. I believe the British thought that they had finished with it, being in prison. But the CPP campaigned for him when he was in prison.
Okay.
Bidima was one of the leaders. He organized the women of Accra, and they voted massively for Nkrumah. So he had to be released.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we'll be talking to K B Asante with regards to independence, 1957, down the line, 59 years. What has been the achievement? Who was Kwame Nkrumah at the time? This is Hard Truth, proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
The Hard Truth, Season 10, with Akosua Konadu, only on Viasat 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank. EcoBank, we see a great future. One that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back to The Hard Truth, proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and I have with me KB Asante. Well, KB, so Kwame Nkrumah became president of the Republic of Ghana.
First, he became leader of government business.
Leader of government business. Oh, okay.
He became leader of government business. And then he became prime minister.
Okay.
And then in 1960, we became a republic,
yeah.
And therefore he became president. But even when he was a leader of government business, he had a lot to do. When he was prime minister, he was head of government. The head of state at that time was the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth.
Okay.
Was still queen.
Until we became a republic.
A republic. Okay. And the queen, as normal in those days, and it as happens in Canada and Australia, he sends a representative known as a governor general.
Okay.
Who lived, Lord Listowel, who lived in the State House.
How was Kwame Nkrumah like as president?
I think he was alive to his responsibilities. He wanted to make Ghana a modern, prosperous state, and he was impatient. He left no stone unturned to achieve his aim.
Okay. At that very tender age, what was the thinking of Kwame Nkrumah? Because it looks like he did so many things that many people think that down the line, it beats the imagination of what usually it ought to be at that time.
I think he had been in America. He had come across various forms of discrimination and so on. He then went to London. He took part in the conference. He met some of the African leaders and so on. And so when he became president, even prime minister, at independence, he felt that the African should emancipate himself.
Okay.
That for long, through slave trade, through colonialism, we've come to believe that we were not yet there. That we needed the Europeans and others to rule out, to teach us the way. And Nkrumah thought all that was wrong, that we Ghanaians were capable of ruling ourselves, that we are as good as any other people, that we should try to regain our self-reliance and do things for ourselves. We don't have to look to the Europeans or others to develop this country for us. We should develop it ourselves.
Did we have the human capacity to do that?
We did. If you don't have it and you have money, you employ people. You can. There are many people all over the world. If we have right now, the Turks are here to build our airport for us.
The Terminal 3.
Yes, Terminal 3. Are they going to bring Turks to do everything? No, they'll use some of our people.
Yes.
And it's possible when you need such technology and you ask some people to come and do it, if Kwame Nkrumah were doing it, he will insist that they employ some Ghanaians in certain key areas so they learn how to do it. And so the idea of having the wherewithal to do it, it's at that time, and even now, immaterial. You must have the plan, you have the eventual resources, which means that if you don't have the money now, you should know. And you may borrow, but you should know how you're going to pay.
Okay.
If you borrow without any knowledge of how you're going to pay it, and you fritter it away in reckless spending, then you get into trouble. And we seem to be getting into this trouble now and again.
How did Kwame Nkrumah come up with plans to ensure that Ghana was what it wanted to be at the time?
Now, at the time, he had what I would call ad hoc plans. But later on, he tried to have a 10-year development or 7-year
development
plan. Following the footsteps of the colonial governor, Sir Gordon Gatchisburg. He tried to have it. Now, as I said, he had ad hoc plans, which he tried to implement. The first one was he realized that education was important. Everybody must be educated.
Good.
So he brought in the free compulsory elementary education. It was said that we didn't have the teachers. So Nkrumah asked them to have pupil teachers.
Right.
Those who have just left school, train them for a year or two, let them go and teach.
Good.
But as usual, and this, we still do it now, Ghanaians don't like that sort of thing. They wanted to show you, if you force something on them, they want to tell you, I told you so, instead of trying to make it work. So, if you look back, we did not implement that policy properly. And right now, go to the streets. How long have we been independent? You'll find somebody who's 30-year-old. He can't speak English. Why did we carry it on? So that now, anybody 30 years old can speak at least. He can speak English, which is the official language, as well as his own language, and plus another one. You can go on to the next one. But this one, we should answer. Is there something which we Ghanaians can be blamed for not doing?
Really? So what can be done?
Right now, you are free,
compulsory basic education,
See to it that everybody go to school. If you see an 8-year-old walking the streets at about a weekday, at about 10 o'clock, he should be apprehended, taken home. The father and mother should be charged for not letting. And then see that the schools are there, that there are teachers to teach them, and that you supervise the teachers, and that they at least acquire the grounding of knowledge education to get on later.
Okay, the hard truth is still on, and when we come back after taking this break, we'll be looking at one thing that is very key to the success of every state: infrastructural development. Now, what did Kwame Nkrumah do? And 59 years down the line, how well have we been able to manage all these infrastructure? We'll be right back.
The Hard Truth, Season 10, with Akosua Konadu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank. At EcoBank, we see a great future, one that's full of opportunity for those who want to be the best. With over 1,000 branches of a single bank across 33 African countries. It's a future where trade can flourish without boundaries. The future is breathtaking, with enormous cross-border investments helping business and government build new infrastructure, while individuals achieve their ambitions right across Africa. The future is Pan-African, and EcoBank is the Pan-African bank.
Welcome back to The Hard Truth, proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African bank, and I have with me KB Asante. Well, KB, now let's look at infrastructural development. As of the time Kwame Nkrumah took up the reins of this country, until it was ousted in 1966, and years down the line, what can you say about it?
Yes, it is a big issue. We have not developed the appropriate structure because we don't seem to have a plan. Unfortunately, we've had governments which stay for a short time, and therefore perhaps we can say that they were not able to carry out their plans. But to have infrastructure in a country like Ghana, you you need a plan and time. You see, what do you call infrastructure? Roads, then what? Industry,
yeah.
and so on.
Energy,
power. Roads, for example, very important.
And even railway lines.
Railway lines, we had a railway up to
Yes.
Kumasi, now we've destroyed it. We have no more railway. But so far as roads were concerned, in infrastructure, his main aim was to connect the major food growing areas to the places of consumption.
Right.
There were roads where you wanted to improve them. Then infrastructure, you talk about industry and energy and so on. Yes, Kwame Nkrumah believes that without industry, we could not give the sort of life which the young men and women deserve.
Right.
To do that, we should not only be exporters of raw materials. So he and also when we produce good fruits and so on, we shouldn't allow them to go waste. Therefore, he decided to have a canning factory. He decided, then going back to our major products like cocoa, so he started a jute factory.
Right.
To
bag the cocoa.
To bag the cocoa,
jute bags,
and then even went backwards to try and produce a raw material to make the jute. And then he decided, he found out that if you produce infrastructure as necessary, but it should have a name. If you don't allow the infrastructure to satisfy the centers of where people live, you create a problem. Then naturally, every young man wants the best,
right.
or young woman best for himself or herself. So there will be an exodus to the big towns if you put all the action there.
Right.
And we have it now in Accra.
Yes.
Accra is bursting at the seams. So he had a factory in Accra, jute factory in Kumasi, tanning factory in the Volta region, corn beef factory in Bobatanga, and so on. If you look at it, he tried to spread the industry around the country. And then when you do that, it makes even infrastructure more difficult in that you need more roads and so on. So at that level, he tried to build the communications. But he even had big ideas. The motorway, for example.
Right.
Many people spoke foolishly about it after the coup. And so far as infrastructure or roads are concerned, he had the major ideas, but he also knew that you must have the small roads and so on to bring food to satisfy the people. He also believed that education was prime. He had started the elementary school project. Then he thought we need a technical place to train our engineers and so on. So we established Kumasi, and later on Cape Coast was established also to train teachers and so on. It wasn't just education. Now we're talking about the universities and colleges not training people for jobs, because when they leave school they didn't know what to do. That is an indictment not only of the administration. Because you don't what do you teach them in university if you don't have industries or plants
to swallow them up completely?
Yes. So the idea of Nkrumah was that the schools, colleges should train people to man the infrastructure and other projects which he was building.
Interpersonal relationship, how was he like? How did he
he was a hard worker, and at first I found working with him was a bit intolerable. He comes to office at 7:30 and he wants you to be on your bottom of the desk until about 2 o'clock. I wasn't used to that, but I left. And it didn't do me any harm. But he was a hard worker,
yes.
And he insisted that those around him should work very hard. and he had ideas and problems where he tackled problems on his own, either with ministers or those who knew.
Yes.
In the office.
KB, where were you when the coup plot was being hatched, or when?
I was in Accra, and the coup plot. Strange enough, it was military intelligence which smelled a coup plot. But Nkrumah did not believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, they were the only ones. Yes, that one I knew.
Who led the coup d'etat?
I would say that the coup was hatched mainly by the police with the help of the army, and later reports show that they had at least moral support from foreign agents.
Why so?
Why so?
Yes.
Oh, it's normal. You see, there was a lot of nonsense talked about Nkrumah helping other African countries and so on, wasting our money. It's rubbish. Every country pursues its national interest, whether it is interference in other people's affairs or not. It's against international law, so you don't admit it, but you do. If a country thinks that Ghana is an impediment, Ghana is misleading other African countries, and that they want African to be docile, to be quiet, as we are now. Now we don't count for anything in Africa. If a country believes that, then it will use any method to see that we are where we are. Therefore, if it's necessary to overthrow someone who is in their way, who believes that Africans are as good as any other people, he will do it.
Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to talk to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, this has been Hard Truth right here, and it's proudly brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. It's all in your ears. Ghana is 59 years old. What role have you played in the development and growth of this country? Don't think about what others have done. What about you yourself? Think about this. Thank you.
The Hard Truth, Season 10, with Akosua Konadu, only on Vice at 1.
Brought to you by EcoBank.